Hey everybody, welcome to Ocala Garage. Thomas here. So it's a Saturday night and I thought I'd do a little bit of work in the garage. Although today's video is going to be a little bit more chit chat than it is work. I just wanted to get you guys a little caught up on where I am and what's going on next. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is positioning my throttle pedal, the gas pedal. So I've got a drive-by-wire setup here. I know a lot of guys are putting Coyotes and other engines like that into their cars where you've got, you know, it's not a mechanically driven cable. So I was having a lot of issues trying to really figure out where the best place to mount my throttle pedal would be. And I took a look, you know, in the book. Actually, let me grab it. The book, you know, they help you out a lot. But of course, this is a very custom kind of a setup. So you got to figure stuff out on your own. And you know, with the videos, I don't think you guys get to appreciate how much time there's actually put into this build. And I don't want to create a false sense of ease about this build. It's certainly not an easy thing. And there's definitely hours spent off camera planning things, looking at stuff, fitting whatever, so that I can make it look super easy on camera. But back to this. So in this nice black and white image, now they have a color PDF online, which I don't know if that would have helped any, but they sort of show where the throttle cable should be mounted. And they show mounting it before you run the steering column. And that's probably a bad idea because it's such close tolerances under there that you could easily mount your gas pedal in a spot that would interfere with the steering column. So I'm going to pull you off the tripod here and I'm going to take you over to the footwell and kind of show you what I did and kind of show you how I worked through an hour and a half of adjusting it just a little bit this way and just a little bit this way to get it into just the right spot where it should clear everything. So hang on, we'll be right there. So the first thing you're probably going to notice is my whole pedal assembly is removed, and that's actually for a different reason, but coincidentally it actually makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see what's going on. Also, the steering column is removed, so I can't quite show you how close this tolerance is, but believe me when I say moving this gas pedal comes within probably a millimeter of the steering column and not really much more clearance between it and the brake pedal. So that's a challenge, but where I actually mounted it is really pretty close to what they show in the book, but it was so close. It is so close to the steering column, and I of course, you know, made sure I rotated the steering column 360 degrees just to make sure there was clearance regardless of which way the steering column was facing, and then of course hitting the gas pedal all the way down to make sure full travel is clear. So what I actually did before I drilled holes and mounted this is I have some really strong magnets. I think they're neodymium magnets, and I just stuck a magnet to this steel plate here and then stuck this to the magnet, and I was able to, you know, move it just left and right a little bit, move it up and down so I could mark and position it. And let me show you the magnets real quick. So these magnets are actually pretty super cool. If you have an old computer hard drive and you take it apart, these magnets are inside that hard drive. I used to take take hard drives apart as part of my job I had 20 some odd years ago, and I saved a bunch of these magnets. So here they are. These are the magnets. Now you got to be a little careful because this little coating comes off and you can really cut yourself pretty bad, but these are good magnets. Like, they hurt. They're solid. These, you have to slide them to get them off. So I use these to attach the gas pedal to that steel plate, and that way I can position it just right. And that took me probably an hour and a half of fiddling with it. Like I said, moving it down, moving it over, twisting it, just to get it in exactly the right spot where it feels good for my foot and there's no interference with anything else in that footwell, mainly the brake pedal and the steering column. Also, having it in a spot where I can run the cable through, having it in a spot where I can run the cable through and have it connected to this steel part without interfering with, you know, the steering mount here and anything else. I couldn't have it way over this way, so I had to have it to the left of the steering column as opposed to the right, because this, I'd have to drill way through this, and that might have worked, but anyway. So I do have this connected, and it's actually routed up and around, and I'm connected to the carburetor. That was a lot of, you know, just moving it a little bit here and there, and I think I've said that 4 times now, so maybe you get the point. Now the second part of this video is to talk about my pedal box, which I removed. So I did this partly to make it easier to install, to drill holes and to install the throttle pedal, but also a builder, Coupe Daytona build. He's a YouTube guy. If you haven't seen him, definitely check out his channel. I wish I knew his name. I'm sure I could find it if I was more of an internet stalker, but I don't recall him ever saying his actual name in the videos. But Coupe Daytona build, give him a look. He's got some great videos. He's building a Daytona Coupe, and I've stolen a lot of ideas from him, as well as Paul Borer, who's just a Factory 5 forum rock star. But Coupe Daytona build guy said he's been having some, so his car is on the road and running, and he hasn't liked the way the brakes worked. And he said he recently upgraded to these, a new Willwood master cylinder that is 5/8. It's a 5/8 cylinder as opposed to, these are 3/4 that come with the Factory 5 kit. So it's a little bit smaller, but he said it has been a night and day change in how well his car stops. And I figured, you know what, I'm at the perfect spot in my build to just easily be able to remove this pedal box, swap out the master cylinders, and put these on. So I'm going to do that. Now you guys have already seen me put these on. It's not a big deal, so I'm not going to film this. But just so you know, and you can also go out to his video. It's fairly recent. But let's see if I can get this to focus. That is the part number. And of course I got 2 of them, you know, one for the front and one for the rear brakes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick and swap those out and get that done, and just kind of do what's going to hopefully be a smart upgrade before I'm even putting this car on the road. So hopefully that's going to work out well. So that's kind of my plan out here in the garage tonight. Again, I'm not going to film it because it's like 2 screws or something, or 2 nuts and bolts on each one, and it's out and in, and it's pretty simple. And like I said, I've already filmed putting the pedal box together. But so there's that tonight, and then let me take you through my plans moving forward. One other thing I want to mention before I get moving is I reached out to Factory 5 about 2 weeks ago, and I said, hey guys, can you confirm for me what you still have on my POL? That's the back order list, parts on order list. And because I'm still missing my tires, and I'm missing the upper link to mount the rear end. You know, the upper link here to mount the rear end, and then some bolts and nuts. That entire kit was actually missing. They had it checked off in my original inventory saying I had it. And when I did the inventory, I wrote back to them with all the missing things, and I said, hey, I'm missing this and this and this. And I never received it. I also never received my tires. So I reached out to them, and now I've had this car for 8 months, going on 9 months. And so I reached out and said, can you guys confirm for me what's on my POL remaining? And they said, we show you having received everything. And I said, well, I show me not. And we kind of went a little bit back and forth with the wheel and tire. They're like, it's odd that we sent out wheels without the tires. And I sent them a picture of the shipping label, and they go, huh, somebody screwed up. So they're going to send me the tires and the upper link kit. I was kind of expecting they would have sent it by now, but you know, there was Thanksgiving in the middle, plus the guy that I was talking to apparently quit in between then and now. So I reached out to them again earlier this week, and I can't remember who I talked to, Dave, not the owner Dave, but another Dave. And so So they say they're going to get them out. I'm going to give them all of next week to get a shipping label, and if I don't, they're going to hear from me again. I've been very patient, but that will run thin because it's holding up the rest of my build. Like, I really don't want to move forward. I didn't want to put the engine and transmission in until I got the rear end installed. I did that anyway, but like, I can't move forward, or I don't have much more to move forward with. But I will tell you what I am going to move forward with. So if you guys saw the engine install, you will know that I have to fix the transmission mount plate. So I'm going to work on that. That's my number one next priority. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get my brake lines, at least the front brake lines, plumbed and installed, and run after I get the pedal box back installed. And then I'll get the main brake line run to the back. But again, I can't really install the back brakes or the brake lines until I get this installed. So that's kind of next, is just getting the brake lines plumbed. And then I'll probably get them like bled and just ready to go. I'm of course going to tighten up all the nuts and bolts here. And I think I'm going to try my best to not have to remove this engine and transmission again. I think I can get away with it. I believe I have clearance enough to do what I need to do. We'll find out when I try to mount the fuel pressure regulator. I think I'm going to mount it over here somewhere, maybe here or on that panel. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to get all the fuel lines built and run. And then that's actually the short term. So I don't know how much of the brake line stuff I'm going to really film doing online. I've got one already started. So I've got, you can't quite see it here. I've got this already mostly bent and run, and that's going to be the driver's side over to the passenger side brake line. So the main line for the front brakes are going to come down. It's going to hit a little L junction, and then it's going to come out here to the driver's side, and then it'll follow this brake line over to the passenger side, and that'll be the front brakes plumbed. So that'll be the front brakes plumbed, and then I will work on bringing the brake lines to the rear. And after that, I'm not entirely certain what's going on. I got to double check in the book and see where we're at. But hopefully by then, I'll actually have the tires and the upper link received. So hopefully by the time I get done piddling around with fixing that transmission mount and plumbing at least the front brake lines, I should be able to get the rear end installed, and I'll make sure I video that. That'll be an issue, I think. Well, not an issue, but I'll probably have to have my buddy Matt or somebody else come over to help me with that, because it's 280-ish pounds, I think, for that rear end, and I don't feel like doing that all by myself. So those are the short-term plans. But the build is going well. Minor frustrations with Factory 5 back order and shipping. Now, to give them a pass, they did go through between September and now. They've completely revamped and went to a new system for all their parts orders and everything, and inventory tracking. Things happen. Like, I'm a software developer, and we actually just went through a 1.0 to a 2.0 like legacy system to new system upgrade, and moving over the legacy, the legacy data to a new system, and things get missed, things get a little bit messed up. So I understand, right? I mean, this isn't a perfect world, and I don't want to be mad at Factory 5. I mean, they've always been good. Any issues I've had, they've been really good about correcting and getting them, getting everything rectified. This one, slightly frustrating. It's been 2 weeks since I reached out to them. I've gone through 2 different people, and like I said, these are parts I should have had that they thought I didn't, that they thought I already had. So hopefully I'm going to give them, what is today, December 2nd or 3rd? I think it's the 3rd. I'm going to give them until December 14th. We'll give them 10, 11 days, whatever that Monday is. If I don't have a shipping label by that Monday, the 14th or whatever it's going to be, I will reach out to them again with an email that has a little bit more attitude, probably. But I really can't complain. I mean, those guys are working hard. They've had a lot of challenges, and yeah, it's frustrating, but it's frustrating for them as well. So again, I'm trying to be good and respectful. But at some point, I want to get my build going. So it's, again, it's December. I'm hoping, so I got the engine in. I'm hoping, my goal is by spring, like April, let's say, I'm hoping to be able to do a first start. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot that can happen between now and April. That's pretty quick. But I think that'd be a cool milestone with that 1 year from receiving it, a little bit over 1 year, actually getting to turn the key and getting a start out of the car. You know, my original plan is about 3 years for the build, and that's just to have the build ready, drivable, registered, not painted. I don't plan to paint the car probably for a year after I'm driving it and getting it around, because I'm kind of considering that like a shakedown. Because if I ever have to take the body off to get to something, to fix something, I don't want to wreck a $10 or $15 or $20,000 paint job doing that. I don't, you know, it's going to stay in the gel coat. Until then, I'm probably going to, you know, sand flat a lot of the, you know, the mold seams and things like that. And you never know, I might, you know, do a rattle can black, you know, flat black paint job like I did with my Datsun, just to get it covered. But yeah, that's my plan. So hopefully, you know, in 2 years, the car will be registered and driving. It would be cool if it were sooner than that. But really, yeah, I mean, I think I have a realistic timeline. It's tough to estimate a timeline for these kinds of things because, you know, life always happens. But I am going to finish the car. That's the goal. Just get it done. Trying to do the best job I can. I always appreciate the feedback you guys give. Your comments are super helpful, and please keep it up. So I apologize that this is a little bit different of a video where I didn't show any good action, but I just wanted to get you guys a little bit of an update on where I am and where I'm going. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate your feedback. Appreciate you watching. Please hit, you know, like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more. Make sure you hit the little bell, all that junk, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.